Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for today's card. Today's card uses some of the items in the Simon Says Stamp June card kit. This is called Happy and Smile. I'm going to be using several stamps from the set. I'm going to be using the Avery Elle Custom Panels die set. You can see they're adhered to my magnetic card from Stamp and Storage. It's a very secure magnetic card. I'm also using this Stitched Circles by Simon Says Stamp and some paper that comes with the card kit called Sunkissed by Doodlebug. So I'm going to start off by taking a piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock. I'm going to mark it 3.5 inches down on both sides. This panel is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I marked it so that I could center my curve die, make sure I did it equally on both sides. Now I'm going to run that through my Sizzix, and then I'll take a piece of Fog cardstock by Simon Says Stamp. I'm going to place it right in the center of my Neenah piece, and then I'm going to just move my die around until I hit the groove where I cut it on the Neenah panel, and then I'll secure that into place on the Fog cardstock and run it through the Big Shot again. And that way I have my curve matched up. Now some people have asked me about tearing of the paper. If you hold the surgical tape very close to the paper when you're peeling it off, I find that that helps a lot with the tearing of paper. Alright, so now I'm just going to line it up, and I'm going to mark where I need to trim it off because it was a little bit big. And then I'm going to center my stitched circle in that panel and run it through my Big Shot. And you'll see that the stitches are also on the outside. Now I'm inking up my stamp with some Daffodil Delight Stampin' Up! Ink, and to make the tips of this sun pop, I'm going to color them with Tangerine Tango marker, and then I'll stamp it onto some Stampin' Up! Whisper White cardstock. Stampin' Up! Inks always work better on Stampin' Up! Cardstock. Now I stamped it twice because I forgot to color the tips the first time. Now I'm going to put my cardstock into the MISTI to stamp his smiley face, and I'm going to ink it up with some VersaFine Black Onyx ink and just close the lid. Now, a lot of you have been talking in the forum about this absorber chamois, so I decided to try it out, and I love it. It cleans stamps so well, and there's nothing left on it after I'm done cleaning it, and no more threads from the baby wipes. That was really starting to annoy me, so I highly recommend this. All right, I went ahead and stamped the eyes upside down, so I redid the whole thing later, and you'll see that. But what I wanted to show you is I used Stampin' Up! Cardstock with Stampin' Up! Ink, and the first time I did it, I forgot to use Stampin' Up! Cardstock. You could see the difference. The Neenah is on the right, so it really helps to use Stampin' Up! Cardstock with the Stampin' Up! Ink. All right, now I'm going to stamp my sentiments on my Fog panel. I'm going to ink that up with some VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and I'm going to use my MISTI because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to stamp this bottom one twice because it's such a thick sentiment. So I stamped it the first time, and yeah, I did need to stamp that bottom one more time. So I went ahead and inked it up again, and I removed the top sentiment because that came out just fine. So once I stamp it again, it'll come out great, and then I'm going to go ahead and clear emboss it. I like to do clear embossing on black pigment ink rather than using black embossing powder, just because you don't get the black embossing, stray embossing powder problem. And it's nice and clean this way. So I'm going to heat it to set it. And now I'm going to put some Scotch foam tape on the top and bottom of my Fog piece. And I'm just going to add some dimensionals around the hole. And I cut a small piece of that designer paper or pattern paper, and I'm just put it on the top, and that's to balance out the top and the bottom. So I'm going to take off all the release tape, and then I'm going to put it right in the center of my panel. And then I realized I cut my Fog a little bit long because I just do that all the time to make sure that it fits and trim it off, and I forgot to trim it off before I adhered that polka dot piece. So I just took the piece off and cut back my Fog, and now I'm putting it back on. And then I'll take some dimensionals and put them on the back of my sun, and I'll pop that up as well. I really love these circle dies because the stitching is on the inside and the outside, so it really ties the design together. Alright, now I'm going to draw some lines just with the Stampin' Up! Black marker. I found this ruler that has a little handle in it, and I got it at Staples, and I love it. So if you find something like this, you should pick it up. Okay, here's my polka dot piece that I used on the top, and I'm just measuring it out. And I just cut it in my trimmer, and I'm going to adhere it to the bottom part of my folded card base, and then I'll put the white panel on top of that. I didn't think it was necessary to die cut the curve in the polka dot piece because it was just going to be underneath my white panel. Anyway, so that's the card for today. It's a pretty easy card to make, didn't take very long, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.